Hi, welcome to the video 3.1. We're going to be reviewing the laws of exponents that you learned in Foundations class, and we're on page 1 of your Chapter 3 packet. Okay, so we're going to start by expanding this. We're going to see what happens when we have two letters with exponents, or two variables with exponents multiplied by each other. So f6 or f to the sixth is the same thing as f times itself 6 times. So this is the expanded form. And then times f to the fifth, which is f times itself 5 times. And so then all together, if we count them, we have f to the 11th. So then that's our answer. Same thing here. So y times y times y. This is my y to the third, and this is my y to the second, and so then I have y to the fifth. Okay, you go ahead and do this one down below, pause it, and then come back when you have your answer. Okay, so you should have gotten z to the 11th when you expand that. All right, hopefully at some point you have noticed a pattern. And the pattern is that you are adding the exponents together. So for example, on this one, if I do 4 plus 2 plus 5, I will get 11. On this one, if I do 3 plus 2, I will get 5. So the idea is that you keep the variable the same and add the exponents. Okay, so go ahead and come up with one by yourself and then do your expansion and then see what your answer should be for that one. Okay, so for mine, I'm going to come up with x to the second times x to the fourth, because small numbers means I don't have to write as much. So I've got x, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that gives me x to the sixth, and so yes, that's going to work every time. All right, let's move on to the back page. And so here we're going to try, so the general way to write the rule is x and then m plus n. So whatever your m and your n are, you add them together, and that's your answer. So let's do a couple of them together. I'll do, let me turn my page over here. So I'm going to do the first row with you, and then you can do the other ones. Actually, let me do the first column because that's mixing it up a little bit, and I'll do this one too. Okay, so this one, y, and then we'll just add those up. So 11 plus 9 is 20. This one, 2, 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay, this one we've got more than one going on, so we're going to combine the things that have the same base. So 3 and then 4 plus 6 is 10 times x, and then 2 plus 7 is 9. This one we can't simplify at all. None of them have the same base, so it just ends up x squared, y to the 7th, z to the 3rd. And then this one, we have fractions as our exponents, which we don't really know what that means yet, but we'll get into it as we go through this chapter. So we're just going to add them. 2 fifths plus 1 fourth. I'm going to make them into common denominators, which is 20ths. So I've got 8 20ths. Plus 5 20ths, and that gives me 13 20ths. So my final answer is x to the 13 20ths power. Okay, we're going to do one more up here. So when you have negatives, something that you need to remember is if the negative is in the parentheses like this, then that means I'm doing -2 times -2 times -2 times -2, and in this case, that would be negative 16. However, if I have -2 to the fourth, then, oh, I'm sorry, this would be positive 16. So if I have the negative on the outside, then that means I do the exponent first. So 2 to the fourth is 16, and then I'm putting the negative on at the end. So you need to remember that when you're doing these. All right, so this one with a negative, it's just going to be the -2 in front, and then the x's are combined because they have the same base, and that's going to be 9. Okay, you go ahead and try the rest of them. Pause it and give it a try, and then come back for your answers in a little bit. Okay, so here are your answers, and this one should be x to the 8th, y to the 13th. So go ahead and check those. And let's move on to the next part. So the next part we're going to do is called the power rule, or power of a power. So this one, when I have x squared y to the 3rd. So I'm going to write that out in an expanded form. So x squared y to the 3rd. And then I'm going to do that 3 times because that's what that means when I have this to the 3rd. It's whatever's inside the parentheses times itself 3 times. So now I've got the same thing again. Times y times y times y. And then the third one, x times y times y times y. Okay, so that's a lot to write out. And the commutative property basically says when all of these are being multiplied, I can put them in any order I want. So I would put all of my x's together, and there's 6 of them, so I would have x to the 6th. And then for my y's, I would put all of them together, and I would have y to the 9th. So my answer is x to the 6th, y to the 9th. Okay, same thing here. So we're going to do this whole thing in the middle, and we're going to do it twice, multiply it by itself twice. So we've got 3 times w times w, whoops, times y times y times y times y, and then one more time, 3 times w times w times w times y times y times y times y. Okay, and then we just put things together with the same base. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 w's and 3 more w's is 6, so w to the 6th. And then 4 y's and 4 y's is going to be 8y. So it's 9 w to the 6th, y to the 8th. Okay, now we're looking for patterns. What am I doing to these to get this? So what we're kind of doing is we're taking this power and we have to kind of distribute it to everything that's inside. Everything that's inside of here has to be squared. And if we were just taking a plain number, like let's say we were taking x squared to the 3rd, we would multiply those together and we would get x to the 6th. So basically we are multiplying the powers. So when you have a power of a power, you are multiplying the powers. So go ahead and come up with another one down here and then give it a try. I'm going to do, let's just do the one that I did up here so that we can see how it expands. I've got x squared to the 3rd. Whoops, to the 3rd. So that means I'm taking x squared, there's x squared, times itself 3 times. And so I end up with x to the 6th power. So yes, my observation holds true. Okay. So over here, our general rule is x, we multiply those. So that's going to be written as mp and then y to the np. That's our general rule. And then on this one, we're going to do a couple of them. We're going to do the top 3 and then you can try the bottom ones. So I'm going to take that 3 and multiply it by both of those. So 2 times 3 is 6. 7 times 3 is 21. This one, I have to do it to everything, including the 4. So 4 squared is 16. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12. And then I'm looking at this one. So this is inside the parentheses. So that means I'm taking -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. And so -2 times -2 is +4, times -2 is -8, times -2 is going to be +16, times -2 is going to be -32. And then, so I did that to the 2, I'm going to multiply it by the 3 and multiply it by the 2. So that gives me x to the 15th and y to the 10th. Okay, pause it and try the bottom one by yourself. All right, so here are the answers you can take a look at for the bottom one. And for the 3 to the 5th, I did use my calculator for that, and I'll remind you as to how to put that in your calculator. So I would put just the number 3. Hang on, it's got to be on first. Okay, so the number 3, hang on, there you go, without a glare. And then we're going to push this little button that looks like a top of a triangle, and that means to the power of, and then 5, and then that'll tell us that we've got 243. All right, that's it for this time. We'll do the second half another time, so please make sure that you put a star by any questions that you have, and we'll talk about them in class.